Hi, and welcome to One-on-One, sponsored by Prescott Media Center, Prescott's Community Access Channel. I'm Ken Bennett, longtime Prescott businessman and former Secretary of State, and I'm interviewing candidates for the upcoming City Council election and mayoral position. And today we have a few minutes to spend with Greg Lazzell, who's running for City Council. Greg, how you doing?
Good, Ken. How are you?
Good, thanks. Now, tell us about yourself. You've been serving on the council the last 4 years, but
start from the beginning. I moved to Prescott about 19 years ago, if not a little bit longer.
Okay, all right.
From Phoenix. I was raised in Phoenix.
19 years ago, so mid-90s somewhere?
Yeah, 90s, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I was a store manager for Home Depot, and they transferred me up here. I opened that store at Frontier Village.
All right.
And I was interested in politics all my life.
All right.
But moved up here, got involved with charities in my church and in various organizations, and read the landscape, and then started getting appointed to different boards, city boards, learning the issues of the city. And before I was elected, I was co-chairman for the Board of Adjustments. Okay. And learned a lot through that process of things like that. Also, I had
Board of Adjustments is the one that does variances on zoning issues.
Conditional use permits.
Conditional use, okay.
And I was with Home Depot 2 years, and then I left here, and because they were going to transfer me. I loved this community too much, so I decided to stay here and went into business myself and was a.
So you picked Prescott over Home Depot?
Yes, I did.
In a sense.
Well, yeah, and it was funny how I got here was they asked me, do you want to go to Tucson or Prescott? And at that time I said, I don't care. Okay. And they said, since you don't care, you get to go to the best place. And they transferred me here. Okay. But I left there after about 2 years.
But the prospect of leaving after just 2 years did not want to leave. Okay, good.
And saw a niche for my construction business here. And then did that for a few years and went on board with Prescott College. I worked in their facilities department with their new construction. Okay. And then eventually became their director of facilities there.
All righty. And before we started, you mentioned that you just got news you're going to be a grandpa.
I am. I found out on July 6th was my birthday, and my oldest daughter told me that she's expecting.
All right.
So it couldn't have been a better birthday present.
I can't think of a better birthday present than that, because I'm a grandpa, or my three little grandsons call me Papa, and there's not a better word in the English language for me right now than Papa. So.
And her fiance is from Chino Valley. Okay. And my daughter is a nurse. My oldest daughter is a nurse and goes to the Yavapai for the nursing school also. All right, good. My youngest goes to Prescott High.
So 3 children?
2 children.
2 children, okay.
My youngest goes to Prescott High. She's a senior this year. Okay. And my wife owns a business in town.
All right. So very...
we're rooted here.
Rooted into the community.
Now I have a grandchild on the way, but he might be living in Chino, or she might be living in Chino. So.
Well, I have a nurse daughter as well, so we share that commonality. Okay, why do you want to be reelected, in your case, to the Prescott City Council?
Well, that was a long decision. If you would have asked me 8 months ago, I was not going to rerun again. Okay. And there were some things that happened that I thought maybe that enough people would step up to run for council, and fill the void of myself leaving. All right. And when I made the announcement that I wasn't going to rerun, I received well over 100 calls to ask me to consider rerunning. Okay. And I decided to throw my hat back in the ring again. And this community is everything to me. Okay. I've turned down job offers that pay much more than I'm making here, but I'd have to leave this community, and I don't want to. Yeah. So there's more to be done. Okay. And
what are some of those more to be done things
I would like
you want to see happen in a second term?
We've been working on the airport, trying to get that developed to open up for small manufacturing and bring in light industry and job opportunities through that area, in conjunction with Embry-Riddle. Jim Robb is bringing in some what do they call them? Incubators. Okay. Which Embry-Riddle is.
And Jim Robb is the city's.
He's contracted by the city to bring in
community
these little
development,
kind of technology to keep. His primary function is to keep. We have a unique situation where we have 3 higher education facilities, universities, colleges in our community, and they all leave.
Pretty rare for a city the size of Prescott.
Most of them, they graduate and then leave. He's trying to keep a lot of that brain power here with startups, whether they be small startups getting Google involved and Microsoft, and global security, and that kind of thing, and try to incubate those ideas. And maybe we keep some of these.
What do you think Prescott can do better to help facilitate the creation or incubation of those kinds of companies?
I think we got to keep, I have a strong philosophy, Ken, that government's job is very limited. We have to leave it up to the free market or to these individuals that want to start these startups. We do things that other cities. My belief that government should do things that others can't do for themselves. Unless you want to get a sheriff's posse, and when there's a crime,
provide
committed,
your own police protection.
Your vigilantes. But we need to provide police protection, fire protection, a sanitary community, which means solid waste, water, sewer, along with keeping our streets clean and in order, in good working condition.
All right.
And if you supply that clean and wonderful palette, then people come here to do great work of art that we supply them.
Some of the others that I've interviewed have talked about incentives. Were you on incentives that the city should or shouldn't?
Incentives can be tricky. And I have a problem with incentives, especially when we have such a great, diverse economic engine here. So we have somebody like your family or other families or somebody that's moved here 10 years ago, started a business, asked for nothing. And now we're trying to hand money out to bring people in. What are we saying to those people that have already done their blood, sweat, and tears of building their little paradise here?
Right. Okay.
So now what we can do is we streamline our government, will it be building or engineering or community development, to be more receptive to those new folks and existing businesses.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons I ran the first time. Was we had a lot of miscommunication at City Hall with my forte is construction, with permits and things of that nature. And the way I explain it to the people that work at the city, I use an analogy of a machine, this weird Gothic machine with gears and pulleys and everything, and it's just they're one of those gears and pulleys. They have no idea the size and scope and how dysfunctional this machine is.
Okay.
Because when you're one of those cogs, everything seems to be working okay.
All right.
But as a citizen or a business, you're approaching the machine going, oh my God, what is going on here? I don't understand what this person does or that thing does.
Yeah.
So we need to streamline that. And and we have made leaps and bounds in that area.
That was what I was going to ask is, do you feel like you've made some progress in
We
that
have
area
made
during
some
your
progress.
first term?
We've sent most of every employee, I don't think public safety, but I think most employees have gone through a customer service.
Okay. Training or something?
Customer service training seminars. And I do a friendly reminder to our staff that I'll kind of nudge them kindly and say, that gentleman there or that woman there who is trying to be an entrepreneur, you know your check is coming every other Friday. They don't.
Yeah.
So they have to go out and earn it where your check is coming in. So you got to remember that. That's your customer.
Okay.
And they need to earn their money rightfully so. And don't get me wrong, we have some wonderful people that work at the city.
Yes.
That are committed to customer service and trying to find solutions and not say no.
Okay. What are some of the other issues that compel you to want to run again or have changed your mind and reconsidered?
I would like to rerun to try to get rid of the business license.
Okay.
I was an opponent to that.
All right.
I think it was way overstepping the bounds of government, even though they'll use an excuse, the people that were for it, everybody does it. Well, we've heard what Mom told you, would you jump off a cliff,
Okay.
But I think it takes us backwards. Every excuse that they found that we needed it, I came up with a logical, non-emotional reason why we didn't.
Okay.
And the majority of people that wanted it didn't want to hear that. They thought that if we didn't institute the business license, we couldn't get the group home under control, which in fact the group home ordinance already required them to register.
Okay.
So now and then the other is we have the right to know who does business
Okay.
You can do that with your phone.
Right.
You Google how many businesses is it, how many. Google knows everything.
All right. So that's an area where you think.
Right. I think we need to amend that and go backwards on that.
Okay. Now, obviously, one of the issues that's going to be on the ballot at the same time that you candidates are is Prop 443, which is a solution to the public safety pension
liability.
Yeah. Tell us what's going on there and whether you support that or
you bet.
Is that a critical
and
issue in your
I'm
mind?
kind of I'm not the official spokesperson of 443, which is the initiative, the Yes for Stand for Prescott, which is the organization that is pushing to pass 443.
Yeah, because the city
only
is not allowed to use citizen resources, taxpayer resources.
We could put it on the.
You can put it on the ballot, but Stand for Prescott is not part of the city.
Not at all.
Those are
it's
private
a standalone.
individuals.
I think it's a 501(c), something of that nature.
Okay.
And that Stand for Prescott is promoting the passage of 443.
And then there's a group it looks like in town that's no on 443 because I see signs.
With every
on
yes,
both
there's
ends.
a no.
Yeah, sure. Okay, where are you and why?
I am for the passage of 443. It is asking the citizens to tax themselves for a period of 10 years for 0.75% of a cent. So basically three-quarters of a cent.
0.75%. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be added to the sales tax.
Okay.
Let's start with the fundamentals. Even if this does pass, we'll be lower in the quad community areas.
Okay. In our total
sales tax will still be less. Along with and in that ordinance, we are it is written there by, if it passed by statute, all of the money raised by that 7.5% will go directly and nowhere else to paying off that liability down, which is, by the way, about $78 million.
Currently, the city owes $78 million to a large fund of other cities and government entities who have public safety employees.
And we could probably step back on that. This fund is rightfully so. You know, our public safety members, the police and fire, and I believe judges are in that, were promised by the citizens of Arizona that they would have a retirement when they are ready to retire.
All right.
And in that, there are things in there that a lot of us don't get in retirement. But then again, we don't go out and run into burning buildings and
look down the barrel of a gun.
Right. So there's payoffs on that, and rightfully so. So they have their retirement that's promised to them.
Okay.
And then by statute, there is a committee that oversees that retirement
at the
fund
state level.
On the state level. And there's no way for a community to be in that or out of it. By statute, we have to be part of it.
Okay.
If we have a police force or a fire department, both or either, we have to feed into that.
Okay.
That, during the downturn of 2006, that fund got hit pretty hard.
Okay.
Plus, there was some mismanagement of that fund.
Okay.
So this last election, general election for the state, we amended some of those things.
Okay.
So it's not as, it protects the citizens' taxes a little bit more.
Okay.
There's still some systematic
kind of protected the people that were already in the system.
Right. But going forward, save some money.
Set up the opportunity for a new class of
what they call tier
three.
Tier 3.
Yeah. Okay.
So there was misinvestment of that money.
Okay.
Now under statute, and this is where it gets weird and people just get angry, and sometimes rightfully so. If that fund loses money, we have to make up as citizens the lost money that was invested.
Right.
And I mean that's a golden parachute.
Right.
Is it right? Is it wrong? At this point, that's academic because it's the law.
Right.
And we are obligated by law to pay that back.
Right.
Now, does that need to be fixed? Maybe. Yes.
Yeah.
To me, yes, it needs to be fixed. We as a city council or as citizens of Prescott cannot fix it.
Yeah.
It has to start on the state level, either by a state initiative, citizens ballot, or by the legislator.
Okay.
And our two legislators are working on that represent us, Noel Campbell and David Stringer. They are currently working on that. But in the meantime, we don't know how long that's going to take.
Yeah. And
the numbers I've seen with what the county, the council is committed, plus that tax, if we get that tax, is that the citizens would be so gracious to pass amongst themselves, that we could have that done within 7 years.
Okay.
Now it sunsets in 10 regardless.
But if you if you do things with the money that it raises and other resources that
Right.
the city has,
We're looking
and,
6,
and
7
you get
years.
it paid off in 6 or 7 years, then the tax stops.
Right, because right now we're trying to keep up with the interest on it,
Okay.
and the interest is killing us.
All right.
So that's why every year we get a new bill, and the interest,
Just
our premium or our principal stays the same.
Okay.
But that interest is going up because it's just
and Prescott's not the only city.
no.
That-
And there is a lot of other communities that are suffering just like Prescott.
Right.
Now this is where we differ. I think the major thing with yes for Prescott and no
On 443.
no for 443, the fundamental difference is I believe the people that want no think that it would be wiser for us to diminish our quality of life so that we can show the state how detrimental this liability is.
To force them to step in and take
Right.
more responsibility of fixing the problem.
And then the yes for Prescott agrees that it needs to be fixed, but we're not, the yes for Prescott wants to maintain our quality of life.
Okay.
And that's the fundamental difference, I believe. Neither thinks that it's going to go away, or it's
Right.
or it's the right thing to do, or say
Yeah.
that the tax is great. But that's the fundamental difference.
Now, I've even heard a few people say, well, if things got so bad that the city had to declare bankruptcy, maybe that's a way out.
I've
But
heard
it's
that.
my understanding that even if the city did declare bankruptcy, they
They would still owe it.
owe that liability to their
And there's-
retired police and fire officers.
The big pot of money that we make at the city of Prescott, some of them are, as you know, as a past elected official, there are enterprise funds and there are allocated funds that we cannot touch to shift. We can't do
Enterprise
creative.
funds like
the
money we collect from
the sewer and water.
the sewer and water have to be used to
For
run
sewer
the
and
sewer and
water.
water system.
The tax we get for the road tax,
okay.
only for roads.
Okay.
We can't change it around.
So the city currently gets 2 cents per dollar.
One, which is
2%.
general fund.
1% goes to the general fund, 1% goes to roads, and this would add 3/4 of a cent.
Right.
But even with that 3/4 of a cent, you're saying that would still keep your overall sales tax in
Lower than
Prescott
the quad community.
lower than the other communities in
Yes.
this area. Okay.
So I am yes for Prescott because I don't want I love this community so much. I'd rather let, sorry Bisbee, sorry Flagstaff, you guys be the sacrificial lamb and
Yeah.
get the attention of Phoenix. I don't want to be that lamb.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what other issues compel you to run again?
And actually, trust me, the 443 is not I will not enjoy myself if I win and 443 doesn't pass. It's going to be, I'm going to become from legislator.
Would you be okay with the opposite? Would you be okay with 443 passing and you not?
I would.
Okay.
I think that's the greater good.
Well, that speaks highly to you.
And because what I become as a legislator to a butcher, because we are going to just start hacking limbs off.
Okay.
And this city it'll be a long time to recover from it.
Okay. Now, if you're reelected, you'll serve for a period of 4 more years.
4 more years.
How might Prescott, or how would you hope Prescott to be better or look different in 4 years because Greg Lazzell was a councilman during that time?
There's other issues that have come up. We've done some great work at the rodeo grounds. I'd like to see that expanded. That was one of my passions when I ran. I'd like to still see the trails continue within the city.
Okay.
Bicycle trails. I mean, that's a great tourism deal, along with our citizens that don't. They walk and ride their bicycles. I want to get them off the street. I want more in the creek trails.
Okay.
Our streets aren't conducive with bicycle pedestrian.
Okay.
Get them off the street. So I want to continue that program.
Alrighty.
One thing that's concerned me is, and this is not going to be a very popular thing amongst my conservative friends, but I think we've got to kind of hold back the reins right now on any future annexation. I'd like that to be a big discussion.
Okay.
And the reason I say that,
Have there been much annexation?
there's been, in the past
annexations
3.5 years,
3 or 4
we've
years?
annexed quite a bit of land
Okay.
into the city. I'd like to see that slowed down,
Okay.
do some infilling,
All right.
because we got a lot. I think 4,000 lots that are available right now in the city, and do some infilling. The reason being is, even if 443 passes, especially if it doesn't, we don't get any more new cops or firemen, and we have all these new houses in square mileage to patrol. That's going to put a huge strain on our public service.
Okay.
And until we come up with a plan of how we're going to properly provide safety in streets and roads and sewers and everything to this new annexed area or further, we need to just slow it down and start. Let's fill in a little bit.
Alrighty. What about cooperation with other communities, other government entities, the counties, Chino, Dewey Humboldt, Prescott Valley?
That was a big discussion the first time I ran about regional cooperation. And there's a time and a place for it. And I sound like a couple of my council people, one in particular, I won't use his name, but you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm not a Prescott Valley council person. Okay. They elect their own. I'm not a county supervisor. They elect their own. I'm here for Prescott. Now, okay. Are there times that where it's beneficial with an intergovernmental agreement, whether it be through the county, through the courthouse, the land around the courthouse, okay. Fire, police, sheriff, those are great. But, you know, to ask Prescott Valley or the county to pay for the help the airport expansion because everybody benefits, well, then wouldn't we be just as reasonable if PV comes to us and says, why don't you help with our civic center? Because everybody benefits from it. Yeah. But everybody chose to have those things in their community. Okay. So is it wonderful to talk about? Yes, but is it realistic? No.
Okay. Other issues that are important to Prescott over the next few years that you want to make a difference in?
I just want it to continue to be the place that I chose to move here and continue to choose to stay here with. Okay. I had a conversation with a lady the other day about traffic. By the way, we have 40,000 traffic engineers in town.
Everybody who drives on the road, I'm one of them maybe.
But she said there's too much traffic in Prescott. And I asked her, are they too fast? Is it too many? Well, they said it's too many. Well, it's not our population. Our growth in Prescott is very minimal. It's everybody driving in and out every day from other communities. So I don't know what the solution is. I said, do we put a gate outside and walk from here?
Yeah. That probably doesn't work. So.
No, it doesn't work. Yeah. Do we widen the roads? Do we make them narrower? Do we reduce the speed limit? I don't know what that answer is. I'd like to come up with a solution on that.
Okay. Generally speaking, as a council person, and I can remember having served on the council back in the late 80s, and that was a long time ago. But what kind of things go through your mind when you consider a new subdivision or a new policy for the city or whatever? How do you maintain the good things about Prescott, but also recognize that you got to make?
Because my core values is first of all, there's property rights. Okay. If they're within the conformity of zoning, property rights amongst everything, because I don't know if you probably know this, it was life, liberty, and pursuit of property, and they had to change that to the pursuit of happiness. Property's always been an important issue since the inception of our country. Right. And those rights of search and seizure, and the soldiers coming on your, let alone eminent domain. This is my property. I should have the right to do what I want. Right. So when these developments come in, they got to sell the council, they got to sell P&Z, they got to sell the citizens. Do they want to be a community, a development? Then we look at all the laws and that we've written over the years. Are they conform to those laws? And if they're not breaking any laws, that's what I got to look at. Okay. Now there are other times when it is discretion of the council. And we have made some decisions that weren't what people thought they were. We listened to the people around that use, even though it was by law, but the decision was ours. We denied it. Right. Because we had 90% of the neighborhood go, we don't want this here. Well, if 90% of it doesn't want there, then who is it for us to say?
Well, we just have a couple minutes left. What else would you want the voters of the city of Prescott to know as to why to re-elect Greg Lazzell?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that there's 6 people running for city council to fill 3 seats. Right. Me being one. I don't think we run against each other. Right. I think the 6 of us, I will tell you, all 6 people, you know what it takes to run. Mm-hmm. We don't get paid a lot. It's $500 a month, $350 after taxes, which barely pays for my gas to go places.
I think when I was on the city council, it was $150 a month.
Well, we got to pay raises.
That's right. That's good.
Of course, you get a loaf of bread for a quarterback thing.
All right. Yeah.
But all 6 people should be commended for even just stepping up to do this. So that each voter out there needs to find out which 3 really suits them the most. Yeah. Are there ones that want the council to be more heavy-handed or less heavy-handed? And if that's the direction you want, then those are the kind of council people you elect. Okay. I am, for one, is a fiscally conservative, and I think that the government's role is primarily to help you do things that you can't otherwise do for yourself.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time with us. I hear a lot of good things in the community about your service. I always want to be respectful and say thank you to those that do serve. Having been there myself,
Yep.
you know, every time you make a decision, it seems like somebody doesn't like your decision and somebody is okay with it. But the ones that don't like your decisions, they remember those more
Right.
than the other ones. So they keep piling up. And
Somebody said once, it said, they don't know the secret to success, but they know the secret to failure, and that is trying to please all the people all the time.
that's true. So you just have to stick with your principles and do what you're doing. And
when I do what I, you know, my heart to heart, and go with my conscience, I got no problem making a decision.
Good. Well, thank you. And is there anything else you'd like the voters to know?
Vote Greg Lazzell. That's Lazzell.
All righty. Thank you, Greg, for taking some time with us today.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Ken.
it. All right.